Hello, hello, what's up? I'm back again. Yes, it is the Sports Judge. This is another episode of Speaking with Judgment, hosted by your boy, the Sports Judge. How's everyone feeling tonight? I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you all had a great weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. It went by fast as usual. And you know what? It's May 1st. Can you believe it, everyone? We're almost halfway through the year. It's crazy. Hey, for all the Star Wars fans out there, it is Star Wars month. May the force be with you. May the fourth be with you. And tonight, I am delighted to be joined by my good friend, a very passionate sports fan, a guy who knows his stuff. My man Trey Larkins is in the house. Yo, 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 what's up, Trey? And what's up, Dustin?
Brother, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Hey man, I'm doing fabulous, man. I can't complain. We are fortunate that we can use our voices to talk about sports, and there's been a lot happening in sports because we're in the NBA playoffs. We got a lot of playoff action.
Yeah,
I know you're an NBA guy like myself. I'm into the NBA, and I'm just very excited for these NBA playoffs. I mean, you got the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns. That game just ended. Uh,
yeah,
I guess you can say that the Phoenix Suns are in a world of trouble.
yeah,
They're down 2-0 going back home. The good thing about it is that they're going back home. They're going
yeah,
back home, so they can try their luck in Phoenix now. They're going to have to win
yeah,
both of those games in Phoenix. But the Denver Nuggets, man, I've been saying this about the Denver Nuggets. They're one of the most complete teams in basketball. So it doesn't surprise me that they're up 2-0. Denver is an all around team. Denver can flat out ball.
yeah,
Jokic, has a lot of pressure on him to win the NBA Finals or to get to the NBA Finals. There's
yeah,
a lot riding on this man's shoulders. There's a lot expected of him. You have Jamal Murray, who's balling out. You have Porter. You have KCP, the former Laker. This is a
yeah,
guy who's been part of a championship team. He
yeah,
knows what it's like. He's been there before. I said this all along, Trey. The Nuggets will beat them in a 7-game series because the Phoenix Suns are still trying to figure things out. They don't have enough depth to match with the Denver Nuggets. I just don't think it's a great match for them. I just don't think it's a great fit for them. They're not equipped to beat the the they're not equipped to beat the Denver Nuggets. They're just not. Phoenix
yeah.
has a big three, but Phoenix traded away most of their bench to get KD. You
So,
traded away Mikal Bridges. I just don't see them winning the
Jonathan,
series.
coming into the series, what was your prediction?
My prediction coming into this series,
Yeah,
the
what did you
Nuggets
have?
will the Nuggets will beat them in 7.
7. Okay, so you had it. So you got respect for the Suns because you felt if it was going
I,
7, you
I
got
got I got respect for him. You got to have respect for him because you got KD. You got one of
yeah,
the best basketball players in the world.
right,
I mean, they're not going to get swept. They're not going to be a pushover. They're going to win some games. I think
yeah,
they go back home. I think they turn it around. I think they make it a series. But when it's all said and done, I don't think this team is that good enough to beat the Denver Nuggets. I just think the Denver Nuggets have more firepower. I think the Denver Nuggets play on both sides of the ball. They defend really well.
yeah.
They have one of the best bigs in basketball. I think they're exceptionally well coached. I'm just gonna go with the Nuggets to win the series.
Now, see for me, Jonathan, coming into the series, I had Suns in 7, and the reason why I had Suns in 7 was because I felt like the firepower from Devin Booker and Kevin Durant as a dynamic scoring duo was going to be a little bit too much for the Denver Nuggets. I felt like defensively, the Nuggets have had their issues, throughout the regular season. They always was a great team offensively, but defensively, they have struggled. We saw even in the opening round, Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, they gave the Nuggets a little bit of trouble even in that first opening round series. So I thought that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker the superstar that Kevin Durant is, the gifted scorer that Devin Booker is, I thought that they were going to be able to outplay Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. And as this series goes along, I felt like because of the greatness of Kevin Durant, that would have offset their lack of depth. Because you're right. When the Suns traded for Kevin Durant, they gave up Mikal Bridges. They gave up Cam Johnson. They gave up Jay Crowder. So they gave up a lot to get Kevin Durant. And so one of the cons to trading for a superstar, the likes of a Kevin Durant, you give up some of your depth. But I thought Kevin Durant and his greatness was going to take over in this series. And in game two, I just watched Kevin Durant shoot inefficiently, Jonathan. And that's the reason why the Phoenix Suns are down 0-2. Devin Booker played sensational tonight. He played outstanding. He played great in game one as well. Kevin Durant played good in game one, too. I think he had like 29 points. But in game two, he was inefficient. And in order for the Phoenix Suns to compete in this series against the Denver Nuggets, they need Kevin Durant to play at a superstar level because they don't have much depth around the team. And he didn't play at a superstar level tonight. Jokic played great in the second half, and the Denver Nuggets are up 2-0 heading to Phoenix and with an opportunity to go up 3-0 Friday night. So Kevin Durant was the reason why the Suns lost tonight.
Yeah, not a great performance from him. And before I get into that, I just want to say hello to all our listeners and viewers out there. What's up, Dustin? Yo yo yo.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. What's up? What's up? Good evening to you as well. Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for watching. Dylan is also watching as well. Thank you for the love and support. We really appreciate it. Yes, Durant's gonna have to step it up. Durant's gonna have to play like that superstar that he is capable of being. And we know, Trey, he can go off at any time.
Yeah.
It could be a matter of moments before he explodes. Because that's what Kevin Durant can do. He can single-handedly take over a game.
But Jonathan, the problem with KD is, as great as Kevin Durant is, and we know that Kevin Durant is one of the more efficient scorers in the NBA history. But my problem with Kevin Durant, and the only knock on KD that I've always had, is like when I look at greatest scorers of all time, I think about Kobe. I think about Michael Jordan. I think about Carmelo Anthony. Like, as great as Kevin Durant is as a scorer, Melo not as good as Kevin Durant is. Melo's not as great as Kevin Durant is, but Kevin Durant's mentality is the reason why I believe he struggles at times. Like, you want Kevin Durant to have that killer mentality. And on this Phoenix Suns team, because they don't got no depth, they need KD to be a killer. They need Kevin Durant to say, give me the ball, get the hell out of my way. I'm going to drop 35. Occasionally, I'll give Booker the basketball. But other than that, I'm getting up 30, 35 shots tonight, and I'm going to do what I need to do to carry the Suns. That's my problem with KD. He doesn't have the killer mentality like a Kobe or like a MJ, and I think that's the type of mentality it's going to take for the Suns to reach their ultimate goal and get to a conference finals or even an NBA finals. They need Kevin Durant to be an assassin.
But see, my only concern with that, if you start relying on him too much, couldn't that take a toll on him? Couldn't that wear him down?
It's the playoffs. The playoffs.
Could that wear him down?
Playoff time. It's playoff time.
You don't want him to. I understand it's playoff time, but you don't want him to be exhausted.
Yeah.
You're gonna need his. You're gonna need his presence. You're gonna need him to be a scorer for you down the stretch as the playoffs continue. So that's the big concern I have with KD.
But if he don't take over, they're not even going to be in a position to have Kevin Durant take over late in games. They already in a position.
If they lose Friday down the stretch, that's the thing. That's the thing I fear the most about Kevin Durant, because they don't really have that guy that stands out, that could come off the bench and give them a breather. Right. That's what I'm concerned about. And that could catch up to them. We all know Durant is good. He has that tenacity. He has that mental toughness. Yes, there's times that he looks a little soft, that he doesn't always bring his game. There's
Yeah.
some nights that he slacks off. I get it. But if you start relying on him so much and you start asking a lot of him, that's going to eventually catch up to him, and he's going to be exhausted. And you don't want your superstar tired, um, deeper into the playoffs, because you're going to need him in the
But
finals.
but Jonathan, they
What
might
if you
not make.
meet? What if you
They might,
meet a very good Boston team that
yeah.
has a lot of depth,
Yeah.
that has a number of players that can score? I mean, you look at the Celtics; they're deep. They're so
Yeah.
deep. They can outlast just about anybody. And if the Phoenix Suns met them in a 7-game series, they will likely be toast if Durant is gassed and he's not able to give you enough, because production is going to be key from Durant. And Chris Paul tonight, we don't know what his status is going to be like because he left the game with an injury. So
Yeah.
now you're asking for Devin Booker to be that guy. And Devin Booker has shown us time and time again, and I know he can score, and I know he can put up a lot of points, but he has shown us time and time that he cannot carry a team alone, that he needs another superstar alongside him. So then now you're asking him to be that guy, and I don't think he can be the it factor alone.
Right, and I understand your point about maybe Kevin Durant. Basically as we go along in the playoffs, him wearing down. But Jonathan, this is the thing: they might not make it that far. Like
I don't
if
think they are.
Friday they down 3-0, the series is over. Game three Friday in Phoenix is a must win. Otherwise, this series is over. And honestly, if they lose Friday in Phoenix, the series is probably going to be over in 5 games. Let's just call it what it is. They will be over in 5 games. I think Denver will beat them in 5. I just that so I hear you when you say like, oh well, maybe he might wear down as the playoffs go along. But Jonathan, they might not make it to the Western Conference Finals if Kevin Durant don't take over. They need Kevin Durant to take over and have a killer mentality heading into Game 3 and Game 4 because they got to win both of these games at home, get this series back tied at 2 games apiece, and come back to Denver tied at 2 games apiece for a very, very pivotal Game 5. But Kevin Durant, to me, in order for the Suns to have a chance to come back in this series, Kevin Durant has to develop and have that killer mentality and play like an assassin. The same way we saw Steph Curry drop 50 in Game 7 against the Sacramento Kings and in a deciding Game 7, the Suns need that type of production and type of performance from Kevin Durant to have a chance.
I agree with you. They do. They do need him to be. They do need him to be dominant. They need him to be that guy. They traded for him to be that guy. They traded for him so that he can get them to the NBA Finals
Yeah,
and get them to a championship.
yeah,
Because he has that championship pedigree.
yeah,
He
for sure.
he can go anywhere and change the dynamic of a team. We've seen that before. We've seen that in Golden State. It didn't work out in Brooklyn. It just didn't work out there.
Yeah,
But this is a guy who makes an impact on any team he goes to, it seems.
yeah,
So yes, Durant has to be the it factor. Absolutely. But then you got to look at what the Denver Nuggets are doing. You can't take anything away from Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is locked in. Okay, this
yeah,
guy is locked in right now. He's playing in this postseason with a chip on his shoulder. That much was made clear to us in Saturday night's Game 1. And
yeah,
Murray has been one of the best postseason performers over recent NBA years. This guy is a stud, an absolute stud. He responds to doubts about his comeback. He flips a switch, and when the lights are on, they are the brightest. They are the brightest. What more can you say about Murray and what he's doing? And Jokic, He's a transcendent superstar. He
Yeah,
has changed the way the center position is played. Sometimes I'm watching him play, and it looks like the dude is playing like a guard.
yeah. You
And I mean, there's nights that my dude is unstoppable, that no one has an answer for him. He can just about get any shot he wants when he wants it. And he makes the game look so easy. I'm not sure if anyone on the Phoenix Suns can stop him. I mean, I don't care how many points the Phoenix Suns drop. I don't care if Devin Booker has 30 plus points or Kevin Durant. If you're not going to get defense from anybody, what does that matter?
yeah, that's true.
What
That's
does
true.
that matter, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I thought in the second half, Jonathan, I thought the Joker took over the game. I mean, the Nuggets, they run a lot of pick and roll with Jamal Murray and the Joker made the Suns pay tonight. He definitely played well in the second half. I thought in the second half he was the best player on the floor by far, and he was able to hit the mid-range jump shots. He was able to get down in the low post and finish around the rim. You know, if you foul Joker, he's more than capable at being able to go to the free throw line and hit his free throw shots. DeAndre Ayton, he has not had an answer for the Joker in the first two games of this series. So the Suns got to figure that out as well. Like you mentioned earlier about Chris Paul. Chris Paul is dealing with a growing injury. We know that at this age that Chris Paul is currently at, his body just doesn't hold up throughout the course of a playoff series. And that's another issue that the Suns have to deal with as they head back to Phoenix for a pivotal game 3 Friday night, Jonathan. But I want to say this real quick about Jamal Murray because I agree with you about Jamal Murray. I remember before Jamal Murray got injured in the bubble, first round playoff series, it was the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. It was Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray going shot for shot. The series went 7 games. The Nuggets ultimately beat the Jazz, but Jamal Murray played as great as Donovan Mitchell played in that playoff series. He was hitting big shot after big shot and made clutch plays in clutch moments for the Nuggets in that series. And then unfortunately, he had the injury a few years ago. And and I believe that he's putting the rest of the NBA on notice, like and reminding everybody, like, did y'all forget about who the hell I am? And we all talked about Devin Booker and Kevin Durant as a dynamic duo coming into this series. We got to show some respect and put some respect on Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray as a dynamic duo as well. And they have outplayed Kevin Durant and Devin Booker in the first 2 games so far in this series.
You know how the Denver Nuggets kind of took a fall there late in the season and started losing games and it became a bit alarming? I think that was the moment when people kind of forgot about the Denver Nuggets and looked and kind of overlooked the top seeded Nuggets.
Yeah,
I think that's when people kind of stopped believing in the team, didn't think they were a serious contender, but they're showing people with their play.
yeah,
They're showing people with their top level play and with their talent and just the way they have handled themselves in these situations. It's incredible to watch. But Dustin has a question for us. Do you want the breaking news? He says.
yeah, yeah. Do you want the breaking NBA
I
news?
don't
Yeah,
know what the breaking news is. He's gonna have to break it for us to know. I'm guessing. I, I I'm assuming that it has to do with Chris Paul
yeah.
because
I
he
would think.
went down with the injury tonight. Had to leave the game with an injury. I mean, this is a guy who can never catch a break. It seems
Yeah,
injuries have kind of derailed his career, particularly in the postseason. We know that about him. Dylan um, is giving a shout out to everybody and telling everyone where they can watch. And my man, Coach Dante, is in the house. He says, "What's up?"
oh yeah,
He says, "What's up?" And Clarence looking like Nuggets in 5. So Clarence, your former co-host, he actually agrees with you. He says that it's looking like the Nuggets in 5.
Yeah.
I said 7, but now a lot of people have this notion that this series can end in 5, that it can be a gentleman's sweep because of the way the Nuggets have shown up and shown out early.
Well,
And I
Jonathan,
mean, this is
I'm
a
not
very
ready to
feisty team.
bandwagon yet, though. I want you to know that I ain't ready to hop off the Suns bandwagon just yet. I gotta see how they look in Game 3. But if they look again, if they lose Game 3, the series is over in 5. I want to be very, very clear about that. Everybody out there know that. If the Denver Nuggets beat the Phoenix Suns Game 3 Friday night in Phoenix, this series will be over in 5 games. But I want to say something about something that you mentioned earlier. Bucks head coach Mike Budenholzer fears Giannis wants to leave Milwaukee next season to join bigger market. New York, Chicago appear to be destinations.
That's
Wow.
not surprising. We'll get into that though.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But I want to say this about the Nuggets. I think the reason why during the regular season people kind of forgot about the Nuggets and overlooked the Denver Nuggets, Jonathan, is because the Nuggets, they not the sexy pick. Like you look at the Phoenix Suns, they got Devin Booker, they got Kevin Durant, they
Mm-hmm.
elite scores. You look at the Golden State Warriors, they got Steph Curry, they got Klay Thompson, the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history. And it's exciting to watch the Golden State Warriors. You look at even the Clippers, when Kawhi and Paul George, when they both are healthy and on the floor, they both are athletic, two-way wings. But when you look at the Denver Nuggets, you look at Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is not a great athlete. You know, like he doesn't have the athleticism like a Russell Westbrook. He doesn't have the shooting ability like a Steph Curry. He doesn't finish around the rim like a Kyrie Irving. But Jamal Murray is effective and he also produces at a high level. You look at the Joker, right? The Joker doesn't have the scoring ability like a Joel Embiid. He's not as dominant as Giannis, but Joker gets the job done. So I think the reason why NBA fans and people who watch the NBA overlook the Denver Nuggets is because their two stars are not like when you watch their games, they're not really appealing. Like it don't really catch your eye, but they definitely produce.
I will say this though. I will say this. It's gonna be a long series for the Phoenix Suns. With Jokic hitting a 3, with Bruce Brown sinking pull-up jumpers, with Michael Porter Jr. doing his thing, and then you have Aaron Gordon knocking down threes. This team is scary. This team is going to be a tough out, and this is a team that I would not want to play at all. I don't
Yeah,
care. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Lakers. It don't matter who you are. This is a team you don't want to face because it looks like they have it all going for them. And obviously, the Phoenix Suns, their defense took away nothing, and it showed again tonight.
yeah,
Uh, and I know it's only 2 games of a best of 7 series, so it's kind of much too early to draw major conclusions. You want to hope that the Phoenix Suns will make the adjustments necessary to
yeah,
turn things around. They still have enough time to correct their flaws and kind of dissect some plays, look at film, and see what they can do better going into Game 3. But Game 3, like you said, is a must win. And I think the Suns again tonight, they looked a little shell shocked. They looked a little shell shocked. Um, and I mean, this is just a different Nuggets team with everybody healthy. You got to remember, Jokic didn't have all of his uh pieces, didn't all have all the pieces around him last season.
yeah,
He basically dragged the Denver Nuggets to the playoffs alone.
yeah,
This year, he has an army of shooters. This team has a lot of weapons. This team is always well prepared, well coached, and I just like the Denver Nuggets. I think you got Jokic fueling the charge, and then you got uh, guys around him scoring points and making it a lot easier for him. So it's
yeah.
going to be tough for the Phoenix Suns, but I think either way it's going to be a long series.
I'm just sitting here thinking about this, Jonathan, and I'm thinking about Kevin Durant, and like I respect the hell out of Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant is one of the greatest scorers in NBA history, one of the more efficient scorers in NBA history. He won an NBA MVP, two-time NBA champion, two-time Finals MVP. But there is no way in hell Kevin Durant can get swept in this series, Jonathan. Remember last year, the Nets got swept by the Celtics. He got swept last year in the East. Kevin Durant and his legacy cannot afford to get swept in this series. That's why I believe game three is a must win for the Phoenix Suns, but specifically Kevin Durant. He cannot afford for a second consecutive postseason to get eliminated and swept right out of the playoffs. It cannot happen. If they lose this series in 6 games to the Denver Nuggets, and the Denver Nuggets ultimately are the more deeper team and the better team, that's fine. But he can't get swept by the Denver Nuggets. No, I feel like right now, Kevin Durant, again, he has to have the mentality, we ain't losing game three back in Phoenix. We got to get this one. Like, so I think game three is a crucial game when it comes to Kevin Durant and his legacy. Yes, I believe Kevin Durant is one of the greatest of all time. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I think he was the best player on those Warriors teams when they won the championship back in 2017 and 2018. But he can't afford to get swept for a second consecutive postseason, Jonathan. It will not look good on his resume.
I agree. I agree. It will. His legacy will take a hit.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no questions about it. But now let's move on. Let's move on because Clarence left a comment here. He says Celtics just got ran through by Philly without Embiid, and yes, they did. And that's what we're about to talk about now. Because what I saw tonight was a James Harden that I recalled when he was in Houston. James Harden went back to his old roots.
Yeah.
He looked like the James Harden of old tonight.
He
And I
did.
didn't think we would ever see this James Harden again. I thought those days were behind him. I thought James Harden kind of took a step back. But tonight, he reasserted himself. And he looked like the MVP type James Harden, or the James Harden that won scoring titles and that used to lead the league in scoring. That was impressive what we saw from James Harden. And I think that if James Harden puts up numbers like that, along with Tyrese Maxey, maybe Tobias Harris, if you get more of those guys to score like that and look as sharp as James Harden looked tonight, this could be a long series. I picked the Celtics in 5.
So
I
did I.
think the Celtics would beat them in 5.
So did I. So did I.
But man, I don't know. This is crazy that the Sixers were able to pull this off without Embiid. And Embiid, mind you, is the scoring leader.
Yeah. So sometimes I gotta tell you something, because I know you a Lakers fan, my brother, but I gotta let you know something about me. I'm a Jason Tatum fan. I like Jason Tatum. I like Jaylen Brown. I don't know if you know that, but I'm a big fan of Jason Tatum. So I wouldn't consider myself necessarily a Celtics fan, but I like Tatum and I like Brown, and they play for the Celtics. So I'm rolling with the Celtics, and I've rolled with the Celtics since the beginning of the playoffs to win the NBA championship this year. I think they were the better team and the best team in the Eastern Conference, even though the Bucks had the best record. I thought the Celtics were better than the Bucks throughout the entire regular season. And so I hear what you're saying about James Harden. James Harden was sensational tonight. He had 45 points. He definitely turned back the clock, and he had a great performance. Hit that three-pointer late over Al Horford. I still don't understand why the hell Joe Mazzulla and the Boston Celtics switched Al Horford. Al Horford had no business being on James Harden at that moment of the game. Because Harden is going to embarrass Al Horford on the perimeter. I didn't understand why they switched, But James Harden had a great performance. But make no mistake about it, Jonathan. This was the Boston Celtics playing down to the competition. They did it in the series against the Atlanta Hawks. Remember, the Celtics went back to Boston up 3-1. Game five in Boston, and they went in the entire game. They beating the Atlanta Hawks, got control of the game. And in the fourth quarter of game five, they let Trey Young ball out, and he completely outplayed Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum down the stretch in game five. And the Celtics had to go to game six and play in Atlanta, a meaningless game, honestly. So the Celtics, they played down to the competition, and I thought they did that exact thing tonight. And the one thing about the Celtics that I don't like, I feel like when they were being coached by Ime Udoka last year, Jonathan, I felt like the Celtics were more disciplined as a basketball team last year, more so than this year. For whatever reason this year, they just don't play defense. They don't play defense. Like, I don't know why, but remember the Atlanta Hawks? They had Hunter and Trey Young and Murray. They were playing well against the Celtics. So defensively, that's the biggest issue right now for the Boston Celtics. Offensively, they playing at a high level. Tatum had 39 points tonight. Jaylen Brown, I believe, had close to 30. Shot very, very efficient from the floor. But their problem is defensively. And I thought under Ime Udoka, they were a better defensive team, and they're not playing well defensively right now. And that's the reason why they trail in this series against the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, they kind of let up defensively. I've noticed that. They're not the same defensive team that they were a year ago.
Notice,
They're
notice the,
not as aggressive on the defensive end of the floor. They need
yeah,
to be more assertive because
agree.
that's their style of play, right? At least that's from what we saw last year. That was their style of play. But yes, I'm with you. They do play down the competition. I think Boston is still winning the series. I don't think you push the panic button just yet. I think they will regroup. I think they will win in game two, but it won't be easy if James Harden goes off the way he went off tonight. You
Agreed.
know,
And
and I honestly thought Harden was washed. I have been saying that he
so,
was washed up, that he would never be the same, that you won't get another, you won't get 30 plus points from him on a nightly basis.
yeah,
And I mean, I was wrong. I was wrong. I know it's just one game, but man, that's a big win for the Sixers. It must feel good to steal a game in the Garden.
yeah. And Jonathan, I went as far as to say during the regular season that James Harden was no longer the second best player on the Philadelphia 76ers. That would happen to be Maxey. I said that during the regular season. I don't know how you feel about that, but I thought Maxey elevated his game and he became the second best player on that Sixers basketball team. But to your point, James Harden, I believe that this performance was an anomaly. Like, I don't think he's going to drop 45 in game two. This will be his highest scoring game of the series. But if James Harden can turn back the clock and turn back into the Houston Rockets, James Harden, then the Sixers have a chance at being able to compete in this series. But I still think the Celtics are the better team, Jonathan. I still think the Celtics have more depth than the Sixers. And I think the Celtics are definitely going to win game two. Because if I'm Doc Rivers and the Sixers, I'm not playing Joel Embiid in game two. Because that'll give Joel Embiid at least another day of rest in between games. I think game three is Friday night in Philly, and game two is going to be played Wednesday night. So if I'm the Sixers, because I won game one, I'm not playing Joel Embiid in game two, and I'm going to give him even more time to come back in game three and be close to 100% as possible. What do you think about the Sixers and what they should do with Joel Embiid for game two?
I mean, tonight, look, the Sixers were nothing short of amazing. Harden was nothing short of sensational. And the Sixers have shined without Embiid, believe it or not. The Sixers moved to 13-5 without Joel Embiid this season. Another example of a team that has been resilient when shorthanded. I feel like at times this team has played better without their best player on the floor, without their big on the floor. Do you rest him another night? I say, why not? You're already up 1-0
Yeah.
in the series.
Yeah.
If you lose the next game, you going back home for game 3. You could win a pivotal game 3. Hopefully, if Joel Embiid is ready to go, you will have him back. But you got other guys that's stepping up. You, I mean, you got an impressive performance from uh James Harden. So I mean, if you can get these other guys to step up and play like they did tonight, then I say you rest them for another game. You don't have to rush him back.
Yeah.
You don't need to rush him back for what?
Right. Agreed. I agree. And and
And
and I,
then you had D'Anthony Melton, the Valley kid, by the way. He's from the San Fernando Valley out here in Southern California. He's a local kid.
yeah.
He went 5 of 6 from beyond the arc and made a couple of critical defensive plays. Then you had Tobias Harris, a typically steady player. He finished with 18 points on 8 of 6 shooting. And then Paul Reed, he even chipped in with 10 points and
Yeah.
13 rebounds in Embiid's place,
Yeah.
including 4 huge free throws down the stretch. So you're getting production from out of these guys at the right time. I feel like they have peaked at the right time. I feel like they have stepped up and they have been a collective bunch of late. And I mean, how I feel about Embiid coming back, don't rush the process. Let him sit out as long as he can so he'll be 100% and ready to go when they really need him.
I agree with you 1,000%. But for me, as great as the Sixers play, I don't want to take nothing away from the Sixers. They played great. They earned game one. You know, sometimes when we watch teams play, like when we and it's a team that's a more superior team, and they lose to a team that's an inferior team. There are times where I watch games like that, and afterwards I say, like, man, that team deserved to win. Jonathan, after watching game one, I got the feeling like Philadelphia, they deserve to win tonight. The Celtics didn't deserve to win tonight. The Celtics did not deserve to win tonight. The Sixers deserved to win the game tonight because I felt like defensively, the Celtics didn't show up. And even also offensively, even though they put up 115 points, Jonathan, down the stretch in the final 5 minutes of the game, they were pathetic offensively. And that's my issue with the Celtics. You got Jaylen Brown, you got Jason Tatum, a great dynamic duo. But for whatever reason, Tatum and Brown during clutch moments, at pivotal moments throughout the game, like, and you know, clutch time is, I think, when the score is like it's a 5 point game or less with 5 minutes or left. For whatever reason, the Celtics don't execute in clutch moments down the stretch of games, and they got two dynamic scorers in Brown and Tatum. So that's something that I believe that Joe Mazzulla and the Boston Celtics as a basketball team, they got to really, really figure out down the stretch how to execute and put themselves in position to be able to get the best possible shot and have the offense flow. Because I think sometimes when I watch the Celtics, they shoot way too many damn threes. Sometimes you need to
Yeah, they
attack.
settle. They
They shoot.
settle.
They settle a lot,
They
Jonathan.
settle a lot.
They
Yeah.
need to attack the rim and try to get to the free throw line. And so I think, as great as they were offensively for the first 3 quarters, in the fourth quarter, in the last 5 minutes, offensively, the execution was not there. And that's something that they need to figure out if they want to even up this series come Wednesday night in Boston.
And usually when you watch this Celtics team, you're blown away because they're vibrant, right? They come out and play strong.
Yeah,
And I feel like at times I haven't seen that same Celtics team. I haven't seen that vibrant,
yeah,
that team that gets after it.
yep,
That team that is assertive, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, forcing turnovers,
yep,
turning those turnovers into quick, easy points. That's the Celtics team that I know. And hopefully they get back, you know, to playing that type of basketball because that's their DNA. At least that's how I remembered them last season when they got to the NBA Finals and fell short.
You're right. I agree. It's almost as if I think the word that you're looking for is last year they were more hungrier than they are this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're not as hungry this season compared to last year. And again, I go back to coaching. I think Ime Udoka got more out of this Boston Celtics team than what Joe Mazzulla is currently getting out of them. Like I don't know if Joe like and I know Ime Udoka got into the situation that he got himself into. And I know they end up bringing on Joe Mazzulla. They were quick to give him an extension. I didn't agree with them giving Joe Mazzulla an extension, Jonathan. I felt like they needed to let him coach this season, see what the results are from this season, and then figure things out in the offseason. I don't believe that Joe Mazzulla earned that extension that the Boston Celtics organization gave him earlier in the season. Remember, they fired Ime Udoka basically, and then they brought in Joe Mazzulla. And I'm not taking nothing away from Joe Mazzulla. Joe Mazzulla has forgotten more basketball than I know, but I just don't know if he is going to be the coach that's the right coach for this Boston Celtics team to get back to an NBA Finals and compete for a championship. I got my questions about Joe Mazzulla, Jonathan, and I thought Doc Rivers outcoached Mazzulla significantly in Game 1.
Well, I think the organization liked how he held the culture together, how he kept things together.
Yeah,
Um, and in a difficult time, the team kept winning. So I think they like his coaching style and how he was able to relate to the players. And I think that's why they removed the interim tag because they saw the terrific job that he was doing in such a short time. And I
yeah.
think that's how he became the head coach.
But
Dustin has a comment and he says Golden State will play Miami in the finals. Book it. I mean, that's not too far fetched.
I don't see it happening.
That could be I mean, it's logical the way the Miami Heat like to play in the playoffs. I mean, this is a team that takes it to the next level. I talked a little bit about that earlier today. I don't see that either. But I mean, it's not a crazy prediction. It's not that bold of a prediction.
Yeah,
Golden State, they're gonna have to get through the Lakers. Golden State is gonna need more from Klay Thompson, and we'll get into Golden State right now, actually, because we got some comments here. Steph Curry is not human. No, I don't know what planet he's from. He's definitely not from here.
yeah,
I mean, that guy can flat out play. We got another comment here, but we talked a little bit about the Denver Nuggets earlier. We're gonna go into Golden State now, but Jokic plays zero defense. That's half of the NBA, by the way. That's about 90% of the NBA. You
yeah.
don't get quality defense. No one plays defense anymore, really. Everyone's all about offense. It's
Agreed.
not as physical. The game is not as physical as it used to be.
Agreed. That's true.
It's not.
That's true. So, Jonathan, let's go ahead and talk about that. In the Western Conference semifinals, we got the 7 seed LA Lakers taking on the 6 seed Golden State Warriors. So we get LeBron versus Steph for a fifth time. I think Steph Curry is, I think he's like 15-7 against LeBron. He's 3-1 in
That's
playoff.
accurate. That's accurate.
Okay,
You pulled the right number.
yeah, and he's 3-1 in playoff series against LeBron. So it's going to be a great matchup. What is your expectations for this Lakers Warriors series? We got game 1 tomorrow. Game 1 is tomorrow night on TNT at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So what's your expectations for this Lakers Warriors series?
Well, first, it's a heavyweight duel between two iconic franchises. That's for sure. My expectations for the Los Angeles Lakers is defend the three ball because that's an area they lack in a lot of
Yeah,
times, and sometimes they get uh they get too complacent. They don't defend. the three really well all the time.
Yeah.
And they give up a lot of uncontested shots, and you can't do that against the Golden State Warriors. My other expectations is not to turn over the ball. Play a clean game. Don't be sloppy. Because if you're sloppy, the Golden State Warriors are going to take advantage. They're
Yeah.
going to take advantage of your mistakes, and they're going to turn those mistakes into points.
Agreed.
So the Lakers can't turn over the ball. They got to take better care of the basketball. And here's another thing that gets me with the Los Angeles Lakers, and a lot of people do not talk about this, but I always bring this up. They like to copycat. What I mean by that, if they see the Warriors being the team that they are, because this is a team that's built to shoot the three, right?
Yeah.
The Warriors like to lunch up threes. Just because the Warriors are firing up threes don't mean you have to do it too. And I feel like sometimes the Lakers like to mimic the style of play of the opposing team. We see that all the time with the Lakers. That irks the heck out of me. When I'm sitting watching the game, it just bugs the heck out of me that the Lakers try to mimic the style of play of the opposing team. Play your game. Play your own game. Attack the paint. You have LeBron James. He's very physical, and he could use his upper body strength. He has the brute strength. He has the physique. He has the size and the ability to dance inside the paint, work around the basket, and draw some contact.
Yeah.
LeBron is that type of player. He can be brilliant in traffic, and he can finish strong at the rim.
Yeah.
But there's times that LeBron likes to settle for all these jump shots. And I'm sitting there like, dude, what are you doing? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Don't settle for these jump shots. Get to the free throw line, knock down your free throws. It's the same thing with AD. AD doesn't have to take all these outside jump shots. Now, look, AD is fragile. I get it. I get it. Sometimes it's terrifying to drive the lane and get to the basket and attack the basket because the last thing you want is an injury, right? We all know how fragile and brittle AD is. But you got the size. You got the wingspan. You have the athleticism. You have the footwork. You know, work inside the paint.
Yeah.
Be aggressive inside the paint.
Agreed.
Attack the basket. Finish strong. That's what the Lakers need to do. The outside shots will fall if you take care of business inside the paint. And I feel like when the Lakers score more in the paint, they usually win the game.
Yeah, agreed. I agree. So I got a question for you, Jonathan. No.
Yeah.
You got one more key for me because I got all the things that you named. I agree that those things need to happen for the Lakers to beat the Warriors. But you missing one, my brother. You done? I want you to. You got any more that you can think of? Because it's one more key.
Health.
Health. Okay. Health.
Health.
All
key
right.
word.
Okay. So I got one key for the Lakers to beat the Warriors, and it's the biggest key of all to me. Anthony Davis has to dominate and be the best player on the LA Lakers in this series for the Lakers to win this series. I'm going to say that again for everybody who's Laker fans who watching, because I know you got a lot of fans who watching our show, Jonathan, and checking us out. I know you got a lot of Laker fans who's watching. Anthony Davis has to dominate on both ends of the floor, and he has to be the best Laker for the Lakers to have a chance to win this series. It can't be LeBron James. It can't be D'Angelo Russell. It has to be Anthony Davis. Because I don't believe the Warriors have the personnel to contain Anthony Davis. I feel like Anthony Davis could have his way in this series against the Golden State Warriors, Jonathan. And I believe that, I think in round one against the Grizzlies, I think Anthony Davis averaged like 21 points per game, 14 rebounds. He had like 4 blocks. And he was sensational in the closeout game in game 6. He had like 5 blocks, and he had like altered like 4 or 5 shots as well. he was dominant from a defensive standpoint for the Lakers in game 6, Jonathan. And I believe in order for the Lakers to have a chance to win this series, Anthony Davis has to, one, be available because we all know best ability is availability. And two, he has to play like he played in, I believe, game 5. Remember game 5 when they lost in Memphis? Anthony Davis played great in that game. LeBron didn't play well, but Anthony Davis played well in game 5. In game 4, I think he had like 12 points, shot 4 of 13 from the floor. He was terrible in game 4. They almost lost game 4. Remember that game? They almost lost game 4. And Anthony Davis didn't play well. They need Anthony Davis to play like he played in game 5 against the Grizzlies, the entire series against the Warriors, in order for them to have a chance. So I think that the number one key above everything else is Anthony Davis playing at a superstar level and playing like he is a top 10 player in the NBA on both sides of the floor.
They need him to set the tone. Absolutely. They need him to set the tone on both sides of the floor. No question about it. They need the best version of Anthony Davis. And you've been hearing me say that as well about AD. AD needs to come out and perform. They need him to swat shots.
Yep.
Because look, this guy bought the fly swatter a few times. This guy bought the fly swatter. And excuse me if you hear a loud helicopter. I guess they're outside searching for somebody. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But if you hear noise in the background, please forgive me, guys. I can't control everything. There's a helicopter flying outside our house looking for somebody. But anyway, back to what I was saying. AD, and look, Ryan makes a good point. I hope that's how I pronounce his name. If I pronounced it incorrectly, please forgive me. AD has to be durable, and the Lakers win. Yes, like I said, health is key. Anthony Davis, we all know he's fragile and brittle. Every time this man crashes to the floor, I'm sitting there, I pause, I shut my eyes, and I hold my breath.
Yeah.
Hoping that he gets up and that he's okay. Because we all know that Anthony Davis has scared the heck out of us in the past with some of his injuries. But with Golden State's movement, passing, screening, and shooting, the Lakers are going to have to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
They're going to have to make some considerable adjustments if they want to win this series. And with Curry on the floor, the Lakers will mix up their looks. I'm guessing. You got Jared Vanderbilt, who's a very versatile defender. You got Austin Reeves, who's tough. And you got Dennis Schroeder. I think they all will spend time as his primary matchup. I think all three of those guys will take turns defending Curry.
Yeah.
And each defender has to be aware of his whereabouts on the floor at all times. Because look, you get this dude enough space, he's gonna knock it down. All he needs is a little space, and he's good at creating separation, and he's good at creating a shot.
He is.
He's really good at creating the shot. He's from a different planet.
Yeah, and I agree with you 1,000%, Jonathan, about the Lakers having to defend the Warriors. Defend their shooting, defend their screens and stuff, because this is a different defensive, responsibility in this series compared to what it was against the Grizzlies. Because against the Grizzlies, Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks, who was pathetic in that first round series, and Desmond Bane, they don't shoot the basketball the way that Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Jordan Poole shoot. So against the Grizzlies, Ja Morant, he's trying to attack the interior, get into the paint, and try to basically impose his will from an athletic standpoint. The Warriors are the complete opposite. They trying to kill you from the three-point line. They got three-point snipers in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history. And Jordan Poole, he didn't shoot well in that series against the Kings. But if Jordan Poole can get hot, watch out. Because Steph, Klay, and Jordan Poole, that trio as a shooting backcourt, they can cause some issues for the Lakers. So I think Darvin Ham and his coaching staff, they gotta for sure have a different approach in this series against the Warriors, compared to what they did against the Grizzlies. Now, another thing I want to say too, Jonathan, I want you to get your opinion on this. I think another key for the Lakers, they need some consistent production also from D'Angelo Russell. In game 6, in the closeout game, D'Angelo Russell had 31 points. He shot well from three. D'Angelo Russell has to play at a high level for the Lakers to have a chance in this series, Jonathan. He got to at least drop 15 per game. At least.
He does. I agree with you, but I'm not sure if he's capable of that because look, this guy is inconsistent. There's a game. There's at least one game in the series where he'll go off and then he'll disappear.
Yep.
And not show up until later in the series. Kind of reminds you of a player in Golden State too, and that's Klay Thompson. Like Ryan says, Klay Thompson has to show up.
Yeah, Klay more consistent than Jordan.
Klay more. I will give you that. He is more consistent, but he hasn't played well in that last series. He's gonna have to really, really step it up. And we all know what Curry's gonna do. Curry's gonna get his points because Curry, for one, he never stops moving, which will be an issue for the Lakers. You know, he never stops moving. He can shoot off the dribble. You know, they can set screens for him. He can work off and on the ball. He can fake a drive and step back into a tough contested 3-pointer and bang, he knocks it down. That's how Curry plays. I mean, but the Lakers have defenders. And I mean, you got Vanderbilt. I like Vanderbilt. I like him. I think he's made the Lakers better since the trade.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt is long, athletic, capable of disrupting Curry's shot creation. I think you can say he is. Then you got Reeves. He's most effective chasing players down, chasing Curry around screens and off ball actions. I think he'll be effective. And then Schroeder is good at the point of attack.
Yeah.
So that's where he's at his best. So I mean, the Lakers got defenders, and let's keep in mind too, the Lakers are great at defending the paint because of Davis' defensive versatility and his brilliance. And then James helps. It helps with James on the floor as well, because James has not only the instincts, but he has the collective length and the physicality of players like Vanderbilt and Hachimura as well. And that's another guy who I think is going to have to be key. Hachimura. I think they need another scorer, and if he can put up points, and if he can light it up, and if he can be effective, I think it will be a long series as well.
Yeah. And one thing I'm also looking forward to seeing too, Jonathan, is you remember in the series,
D'Lo's inconsistent. Yep.
Yeah, he inconsistent. Dylan, I agree. That's what I said. But I was gonna say this too. Remember in the King series, Jonathan, Steve Kerr, after Draymond got suspended, remember Draymond got suspended in game 3, and he came back and he said he wanted to come off the bench in game 4. And so they started Jordan Poole, and in game 7, though, Steve Kerr went back to Draymond and he sent Jordan Poole to the bench. That's one thing that I'm interested in seeing what Steve Kerr does. Does he start Draymond Green or does he start Jordan Poole? Jordan Poole, if he's not shooting the ball well and he's not shooting the ball efficiently, I don't see how you can keep him on the floor, because Jordan Poole, sometimes he's careless with the basketball, Jonathan. And honestly, sometimes he's out of control. I'm pretty sure you see the same thing I'm seeing. Jordan Poole be all over the place sometimes.
Jordan Poole could be a bit reckless, careless with the basketball, and sometimes he's over. How do I say it? Overconfident. I guess that's the word you can use.
Yeah.
Trying to do too much.
Yeah.
Trying to do too much, and that's where the immaturity comes in, because he's young. He's a young dude, and he had that breakout postseason last year, and has been brought back down to earth and hasn't been that same player since. So I do think that there's a chance that you will see Kerr mix it up a bit, because Kerr likes to play small.
Yeah, he does.
Steve Kerr likes to play small. And I mean, that has been the recipe for success for the Golden State Warriors is playing small.
Yeah,
And the Golden State Warriors, they always find creative ways to get wins. That's what makes the Golden State Warriors who they are. They're just
yeah.
a team that can get away with playing small and they make things happen with the players that they have. But it's going to be an interesting series. It's going to be a fun series.
One more thing, Jonathan, real quick. Another
Yeah.
thing for the Lakers, and I know you're gonna agree with this. Kevon Looney was dominant on the boards for the Warriors in that series.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers, they got to rebound the basketball. Kevon Looney, I counted in the game 7 win for the Warriors. In that third quarter, as great as Steph was scoring the basketball, Kevon Looney was as dominant on the glass. The Lakers got to rebound the basketball, Jonathan. If they don't rebound the basketball and Looney is able to get second chance opportunities for the Warriors, that could be trouble for your Lakers.
That's another killer. Absolutely. They got to be able to pound the boards. And that's something that the Lakers have struggled with too.
Yep.
Is coming down with rebounds, collecting rebounds. They're gonna have to be better. They're gonna
Yep.
have to be a lot better.
For sure. For sure.
It's gonna be a good series.
What you got? What's your prediction for this Lakers Warriors series?
They say they never mix business with pleasure. I mean, it's really tough for me. This is a tough pick. My heart want to say the Warriors, but my mind want to say the Lakers because I'm a Laker fan.
So when your heart want to say the Lakers, then
I I guess, but if you take my if I take my fan cap off, I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, I'm gonna roll with the Lakers, and that's not me being biased. The reason I am gonna roll with the Lakers because I think they can defend really well. They know who they're up against. They know the team they're facing, and they know that they're gonna have to tighten things up on the perimeter. They know they're gonna have to rebound the basketball. They can't get out rebounded. They're gonna have to attack early. They're gonna have to score often and early in games.
yeah,
They're going to need Anthony Davis to set the tone. And you said it best earlier. There's no one that really can guard Anthony Davis. He can be trouble for the Golden State Warriors. I feel like the only player they really got to take away is Steph Curry because Klay Thompson has struggled. Draymond Green doesn't really have a shot. Jordan Poole, like you said, gets a little wild at times. They carried away.
yeah.
So I guess you can give the Lakers a slight edge, but it's going to be a long series. It's not going to be a sweep. It's not going to be 5 games. It's not going to be 6. I say that the Lakers win a close one in 7.
Wow. So you got the Lakers beating the Warriors at the Chase Center in Game 7.
Only because the trade has made them better. When you look at the Lakers since the trade, they made a 180-degree turn.
They did. I agree. So for me, Jonathan, when I think about this Lakers Warriors series, I'm excited. We get one more time LeBron versus Steph, and I feel like this series is going to be a great series. It's going to be exciting, and I'm here for it. I'm really, really am. But with all that being said, Jonathan, I don't believe Anthony Davis is going to be consistent. I think Anthony Davis is going to play well, maybe in 3 or 4 games, but I don't see him playing great basketball throughout the course of a 7-game series. I also would give the Warriors the advantage from a coaching standpoint. I think Steve Kerr is a better coach than Darvin Ham is. I think Darvin Ham is a decent coach, but I think Steve Kerr is a great coach. I think LeBron and Steph, obviously both are getting up in age, but I think Steph Curry is currently a better player now than LeBron is. I think LeBron can have great moments in spurts, but it's not the entire game. Like he's not dominating the entire game like he once could. He doesn't. He picks his spots. So I believe, considering Anthony Davis won't play at a high level consistently, considering the Warriors have the advantage from a coaching perspective, and Steph is currently better than LeBron is right now. And I also believe Clay will play better in this series compared to how he played against the Kings. I'm rolling with the Golden State Warriors to beat the Lakers in 6, Jonathan. I got it in 6. So I'm going Steph in 6 over LeBron.
Okay. Okay. That's a fair enough. Fair enough. I can take that. I
Yeah.
can absolutely take that. Dustin says the disrespect is real. The Warriors are going to flip a switch and will put an end to La Bleep
Yeah.
legacy.
Look, Dustin. I think that they're gonna definitely flip a switch. I respect the hell out of LeBron James, though. I think LeBron James is going to definitely play well. But again, I just don't think LeBron at this age can do it for an entire game. He can do it in spurts and pick his spots, but just not throughout the course of an entire game. And so I think that's going to be the biggest difference in the series. And again, I feel like the Warriors, they've been here before, Jonathan. Like they've done this before. If Lakers take away Curry away, Lakers in 6. Okay, that's
Yeah.
possibly. I like in that game 7, Steph Curry dropping 50 points. I feel like he was ready, and that was like kind of like his moment to like get ready for the Lakers. If like Jonathan, okay, you a Lakers fan. I got a question for you, real quick before we get out of here. As a Lakers fan, were you rooting for the Kings or the Warriors in that game 7?
I was rooting for the Warriors.
Really?
Yeah. I picked them. I picked them to win the series. I picked them because they had more experience than the Kings.
I agree with you, but I feel like the Lakers would have had a better chance against the Kings than the Warriors.
No, because the Kings gave the Lakers trouble during the regular season.
But that,
And when the Warriors match up against the Lakers, and look at the stats. When the Lakers match up with the Warriors, the Lakers have better success against the Warriors, it seems.
but the Warriors don't care about the regular season, Jonathan.
That's true.
They went 11 and they went
It's
30
a
on the
different
road.
animal. That's true. The
Yeah,
playoffs are a different animal.
they're a different
That's
animal.
true.
They know how to flip that switch. And to me, the Kings would have been a more favorable matchup for the Lakers because I believe LeBron and Anthony Davis would have overwhelmed Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. And I just feel like that pace that the Kings play at, as great as the Lakers are
Yeah.
defensively, I think they would have gave the Kings some trouble for sure. I think the Warriors, though, I feel like if you were a Lakers fan or a LeBron fan, you should have been rooting for the Kings because I think the Lakers would have had a better chance to beat the Kings than the Warriors. I just think with considering Steph and the type of player that he is in the zone that he's currently is in, he's focused right now, Jonathan. He really is
Yeah.
focused. Like he really is, he's focused and he's ready to go. Did you hear what he told? Did you hear what he told Draymond Green and the rest of his teammates before Game 7? He told them like if you ain't serious about trying to win Game 7, stay home, stay in Golden State. Don't even come on a plane. Like so, I think Steph is focused and he's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, and you're right. The Warriors are always laser focused in the playoffs, it seems.
They are.
They are, and they always show up. They remind you of, I know you're not big on baseball, but they remind you of the St. Louis Cardinals from back in the mid 2000s, a team that would just turn it on
Yep.
come playoff time. This team was just simply built for the playoffs, and
Yep.
that's the same way with the Miami Heat. You
Yeah.
can say that with the Miami Heat too, and playoff Jimmy and Jimmy buckets and what he does in the playoffs. He's a totally different player in the
Agreed.
playoffs.
Agreed.
We have this conversation all the time about uh players um you know turning into superstars during the postseason, but conversations also come up about players shrinking because some players just completely fold in the playoffs. They disappear under pressure.
Agreed.
Jimmy Butler's the opposite. He doesn't disappear under pressure. And the Heat, they do it with a lot of undrafted players because Pat Riley clearly has an eye for talent. He knows how to evaluate talent. And the Miami Heat is another team that reminds you of the Golden State Warriors. These teams just turn it on in the playoffs. It's
They,
amazing.
they play hard like the Warriors, but they just don't got the talent that the Warriors have. The Warriors got more talent than the Heat for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but Jonathan, I know it's getting kind of late, brother. I know tomorrow we can definitely come back on and we can recap tomorrow. We can recap game 2 between the Heat and the Knicks and game 1 between the Lakers and the Warriors tomorrow.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. We'll definitely be back on. We'll be in the same place, right? Back right here.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay. Right here in the same place. You could find this show, Speaking with Judgment, hosted by the sports judge with Trey Larkins right here on this page, and you guys can also find it on YouTube. We also live stream from YouTube as well. It's been great, everyone. It's been an awesome show. Trey brought the heat. Trey uh, knows his stuff, and it was a great hour of sports talk, man. We went a little bit over an hour, but hey, sometimes when you're in the conversation, you just keep a good conversation going, and that's what we did. We chatted, and Trey, I want to give you the floor. I want to let you have your final thoughts. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at Wise Guys _H on Facebook. Wise Guys. You can find me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Wise Guys Sports. I just did a show earlier. I previewed the Lakers Warriors series. Talked about Steph Curry's historic 50-point performance, and even on your Apple Podcast app, go and follow the Wise Guys Sports Podcast. That's my show by myself. But me and Jonathan gonna be doing this show together, talking all the latest in sports. Gonna talk some NFL, gonna talk some NBA. A lot to discuss for sure with my man Jonathan for sure.
Always a great discussion with you, my friend. Thanks for being on. Thanks, and I want to thank all our viewers out there. I was delighted to have everyone with us tonight. It's been an awesome show. But guys, we're gonna check out of here now. We're gonna wrap it up. We'll see you guys again tomorrow, right, Trey? We'll be back tomorrow.
Get me back tomorrow for sure.
Okay. So we'll see you guys again tomorrow for another episode of Speaking with Judgment. Till next time, you guys take care, and we'll see you guys very soon. Have a good night, everyone. Peace.